I'm talking about everyone does, just feel me. And the first thing they want to know is, will I be the only one out there? And if I'm not, then I need to know how they're treating the foreigners or people of the less let's say the community is not as plentiful.
Yeah.
I can say there's not a lot of black people. There may not be a lot of white people in this environment, or maybe a lot of Mexicans may not be in this environment. But for the few that are there, they want to know how they're being treated and how they're being handled. So you kind of you took the words out of my mouth.
All right, are we gonna be stared at the entire time?
Right.
Take pictures.
So we need the facts. What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchet REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, Sue?
Today we're back with another American reaction. Super excited about this video, guys. If you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 100K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Athena, and today I wanted to do a little different video. I wanted to talk about how it is like being black in Sweden. I do get this question a lot. Every time I mention that I was born and raised in Sweden, I get so many questions, and I just thought, let's just answer all of them in one video. So like I said, I was born and raised in Sweden. I do currently live in Los Angeles right now, but I did spend my very first 20 years in life in Sweden. Just a quick disclaimer, I just want to say that my experience will definitely not be the same as someone else. 100%. This is in no way me saying that this is how it's like being black in Sweden. Definitely not. These are just my own experiences and how it was like for me. So, I just want to answer a couple of questions that I always get, and the first and most asked question I always get is, are there black people in Sweden? Yes, there are black people in Sweden. There is this stereotype that everyone thinks that there's just blondes and blue-eyed people in Sweden. That is not the case. There are black people. There's honestly just like a mix between everyone. There's Muslims, there's Asians, like there are a mix between a lot of different races. So no, there's not just blondes and blue-eyes that lives in Sweden.
Okay, I feel like maybe that's like every country has that problem, you know, because like I was watching a video on something about kids from around the world, like AI kids from around the world, and when it got to the United States, of course, it was a white American, you know, instead of any other person from any other culture that we have in America. So I feel like that is why oftentimes society have these images in their head of the type of people that are in certain countries, right?
Yeah.
Because I would have never thought, you know, because that's all I've seen is blonde hair, blue-eyed people.
Gotta break the narrative.
Right.
Yeah. And then again, the demographics, people want to know the demographics when visiting, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we need people like her to speak up, and if there's anybody else in the diaspora that from different races, they can speak up too. And I think that's just how you know, kind of get people to have a liking for a location and not feel like they're the only eyeball out there, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And just speaking as a black person, I feel like when we're looking at places that we would like to travel to, one of the first things that, you know, a person who has not traveled there, and I'm just speaking like from us living in the South, having dealt with racism, how do they treat black people there? You know, especially in homogenous societies. You know, I want to know how they treat them. I don't want to go there and, you know, just be stereotyped.
Hey, you took the words out of my mouth.
You know?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. People, like, we look into stuff like this, and I'm talking about everyone does, just feel me. And the first thing they want to know is, will I be the only one out there? And if I'm not, then I need to know how they're treating the foreigners or people of the less let's say the community is not as plentiful.
Yeah.
I can say there's not a lot of black people. There may not be a lot of white people in this environment, or maybe a lot of Mexicans may not be in this environment. But for the few that are there, they want to know how they're being treated and how they're being handled. So you took the words out of my mouth.
All right, are we gonna be stared at the entire time?
Right.
Take pictures.
So we need the facts. You feel me? Yeah.
If you're from a smaller town or like a smaller city, of course there's probably not going to be as many. But if you're in Stockholm, that's the capital. If you're in Stockholm or if you're in a bigger city, yes, there will be black people there. You're definitely not alone. The school I went to, yeah, sure, there were not a lot of black people that went to that school, but like in general in the city, yes, there are black people. So yes, that is always the first question I get, and I'm like, there are black people there. Second question I always get is, do people stare at you just because you're black? This is honestly like with the same as the first question. No, I mean, I promise Swedes have seen different races before. They have seen black people. So me personally, no, I definitely don't think that they stare at me. I've never ever felt like someone is looking at me just because I'm black. Maybe they're looking at me for a different reason, I don't know. But Swedes in general are very like reserved. We don't like to have eye contact with each other. We don't like being close to each other. So yeah, I definitely don't think they stare. Maybe if you would speak English and you were black, maybe they would look at you a little bit extra just to, because they're thinking like, oh, they're not from Sweden. I wonder where they're from. But me, I mean, I speak Swedish and I'm just black. I definitely don't think that they stare. I promise they have seen black people before. I've had some cases where like actually children have like looked at me, and then I can hear them telling their parents like, oh, look at her, she's brown. But honestly, for me, that's like, perfect, now you've seen a black person. They definitely don't stare at you because you're black. Well, at least for me, I'm not gonna say definitely, because again, these are just my own experiences. But from my own experiences, no, they don't look at me just because I'm black.
Yeah, and she could have definitely took that and ran with it the wrong way. The child looking at her and saying, oh my God, she's a brown person. And she could have been like, oh my God, that's racist. You're teaching your child wrong. No, she looked at it and said, okay, cool. Now we broke the mold, and you know there's brown people that live next door to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, it's interesting to know how she handled that.
Another question I always get is, are Swedish people racist, or are Sweden a racist country? First of all, this is a super hard question for me to answer because I can't speak for 10 million people. But yes, there are racist people in Sweden. Same thing as there are racist people here in the States. Same thing as there are racist people in Australia, in Canada. I mean, unfortunately, there are racist people everywhere. So can I say that Sweden is a racist country? Me personally, I wouldn't say that it's a racist country. I mean, have I gotten ignorant comments before? Have I gotten like racist comments, I guess? I mean, yes, I have, but I feel like it's just from like uneducated people that honestly that ask those questions. For example, some ignorant comments I have received is definitely the one where they're like, where are you from? And whenever someone asks me where I'm from, I always say the city I'm from in Sweden. So I'm like, yeah, I'm from the city in Sweden. And they're like, no, but where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from this city in Sweden. And they're like, no, but where are you actually from? Like, where are your parents from? And I'm like, oh, you want to know where my parents are from? Well, yeah, they're from this city and they're from this city. And they're like, oh, okay, perfect. So I'm like, were you asking like where I'm from or where my parents are from? Like, I just hate that question because it's just like, why can't you just be satisfied with me saying I am from Sweden? But honestly, this question, I don't only get it in Sweden. I get it here in the States too. Every time I say I am from Sweden, everyone, literally everyone will reply back and they're like, are you from Sweden? Like, no, you're not from Sweden. Where are you from? You're not from Sweden. And I'm like, that's where I was born and raised. Like, why are you not just satisfied with a black person?
That's kind of how they program us to see Sweden, though.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you
the
want
images and the advertisements.
Basically, yeah. So that's how it is. Like, when people question things like that, they're not questioning because they're basically questioning because they're trying to figure out there's black people out there. Like, I did not know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't know. Yeah.
That's basically how it go.
Yeah.
Saying that they are from Sweden. So like that, it's just not only in Sweden. I do get that honestly everywhere. Every time I get this question, it's like, no, you're not from Sweden. It honestly got to a point where someone would ask me where I'm from. I would reply back with, do you want to know where I'm from or where I'm from? Because it's like, I don't even know what you want to know. And this has nothing to do with me not being proud of like where my parents are from. Not at all. Like, that is not it. It's just very frustrating that they just can't accept the answer, I am from Sweden, just because I am black. But yeah, so that's one ignorant comment I have received. Another one, I mean, it's maybe not a comment, but
it reminds me of, you know, being young and being told you should go back to Africa. That's what it's reminding me of.
When they say where you from?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a American citizen, I've never been asked. If I was asked where I'm from, I would say the city in Louisiana, and I would say
that's
Louisiana.
what they meant. Yeah, that's what they mean when they ask that.
Yeah, but no one asked that further than Louisiana. I don't know if it's just because, oh, I'm from Louisiana, so you know I'm a descendant of a slave.
Yeah.
Not a descendant of a slave, a descendant of an enslaved person.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, we've never been asked further than that.
I haven't personally. Now it would be a problem if there was an ongoing conversation that you have every time you go to a register, every time you in a grocery store, when you're in school. Like if that's ongoing, then again that can come off as weird.
Now this is another one I've been asked though, and I haven't, like, this is like recent, you know, in the last 10 years since we've been married, is people asking how to pronounce our last name. And I'll say, I pronounce it this way, but this is the correct way to pronounce it. And then they'll say, well, why don't you pronounce it the correct way? And I say, because I'm not French. And they would say, well, but you have the last name. And then I'll educate them. Do you know we're in the United States? Do you know what last name of majority of black people in this country come from?
Yeah.
So we add our own little twist to it.
Yeah. Say it how we said.
Absolutely hated when I was younger when people would compare their skin tone to mine. So whenever they went on, let's say, vacation, or they have been somewhere where it's warm and then they get back and they're very tanned, and they would compare their arm to my arm, and they would be like, look at my arm, I'm so brown, or I'm so black as Athena. And I'm just like, first of all, no, you're not. Like, why don't you just compare yourself to one of your white friends? Like, why would you compare yourself to me that's not even the same color to begin with? I remember that was really frustrating when I was younger. Now, today, I mean, my friends would never, ever say a comment like that. I feel like it's just more, unfortunately, younger people that are just uneducated. But yeah, so that question I hated. Another thing is when I was younger, people would touch my hair. And this is just so not okay. I hated it so much.
I think we're going to have that issue wherever we at. You know
everybody around the world in the diaspora.
Yeah, that's an ongoing conversation.
Oh,
right
it's
there.
this one. Why your hair isn't like Beyonce's hair? What you mean? What you mean? Okay? If I want to wear my afro, let me wear my afro.
Our hair is unique. That's what it is.
Yes.
We can do it all with ours. That's
it defy gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It stands.
Don't hate.
It literally stands up.
Yeah.
Everything pulls down but our hair. Our hair goes straight up.
What we used to say when we was younger, don't hate, congratulate.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's
Don't
the flavor.
hate.
That's the flavor. Make it saucy.
All in the flavor. Don't
all
know
up
the
in there.
wait,
Don't know
all
the
in
Kool-Aid.
the Kool-Aid.
Come on,
Don't
baby.
know
You
the
know
flavor.
these terms.
Wait, all in the Kool-Aid.
But don't know the flavor.
Yeah, I was right. The second time.
The first and second time.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you something, but that's
And the thing is, with like, whenever someone would ask if they can touch my hair, they wouldn't even wait for a reply, because obviously I would have said no. But they would be like, "Oh, can I touch your hair?" And then they just touch it. It's like, stop touching me! Like, get away from me! I do not want you to touch my hair. That was very frustrating when I was younger. Today, I mean, now I have like straighter hair than I had.
I don't think I want to ask this question before, but what is the reason behind other ethnicities wanting to are being fascinated by a woman's, as black women like that, or a black man with an afro? Why is that? Fascinated by their hair texture? You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea.
I need to know the answer. If anybody out there in the world have a little spice of, you know, conversation for your boy, let me hear it. You feel me? Because I'm just interested in it. It's not nothing. No shade towards y'all. Interested? That's cool. You know what I'm saying?
I do want to know
but
why.
I would like to know why though. Like,
because I've gotten pet before. That's what it feels like.
I've been
it
asked.
Feels like we're being pet.
Can I rub my hand through your dreads? Locks, can I, is it real? How long it takes to get, like, it's like the fascinating, people just like so fascinated behind
I don't know, because I don't feel like that about anybody else's hair.
I personally,
hair is hair.
I mean, hey,
But
something
it's not just
about
hair,
it. Something
you know,
about it, though.
I don't know.
Hey, I need to know that.
That's yeah. You
Talk to
got
me.
me down memory lane all the times. People didn't ask.
She got us down memory lane. She's going through it in Sweden we went through it in Louisiana.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know we're not the only ones. So everybody probably would like to know that question. And it's out of respect. You good. Trust me.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone would ask to touch my hair today, but again, I remember I thought that that was very like frustrating when I was younger. I honestly feel like it is the parents' responsibility to teach their children that everyone is not the same. You will see different races. There are black people out there. There are, you know, a mix between all different races. And honestly, like the parents have to teach their children to not, you know, like to not say these ignorant comments. Do not compare yourself to someone that doesn't look like you. Do not compare yourself to anyone. Like there are skinny people, there are fat people, there are tall people, there are, you know, short people, small, large. It's just like, just stop comparing yourself to someone that does not look like you. Stop comparing yourself to anyone, because we're all different. And like the ignorant comments, I feel like it's mostly from like children. Of course, there will be like racist adults too, but they are just a lost cause. I'm just like, I just can't even deal with them.
Because it's almost like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the babies, and the babies are the future. So when they grow up and they still have these lingering questions, it's like the confusion and the confliction is going to be there when they have these interactions. So I feel like she's right. You need to be educated as a child by your parents, but it sounds like they're not necessarily asking their parents about what they see. They're telling their parents.
I feel
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
yeah, I feel like it's parents that do a disservice to their children when the parents don't have a diverse group of acquaintances or friends, because you're supposed to learn about people, you know?
Yeah, 100%. We want to build up a loving society.
Yeah. If we're ever going to get to a point of world peace, which is probably going to take a long time, but still, we have to have hope, right?
Yeah.
If we're ever going to get to a level of having world peace, we have to get out there and be acquainted with people of other cultures, of other races, people from other places in the world, you know, so that you can pass on the knowledge to your children about other people.
Yeah, you done, baby?
No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go for it. I'm remember.
I was just going to say this last thing. It's one thing to have knowledge from other conversations, but you have to have knowledge from one-on-one experiences.
Yeah, and I think just because that the child is absent of these different races, the parents should never deem other people as bad because they're not around to experience the lifestyle that the child gets to experience. You know what I'm saying? They get the toys, they get the trips, they get the luxury, they get the family, the grandparents, they get all of this. And other races, you know what I'm saying, you can educate them and let them know that, yes, they have these too. You will come across parents, married people, you will come across other kids just like you, kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like educating them on a bigger scale and not just saying that, yeah, one day you're going to have to talk to a brown person.
Right. And brown people are like this. How you know what brown people are like? Well, not brown, but black people.
That's what I'm just using the phrase that she used because the child has said brown. So I'm like, well,
black people are like this. How you know how black people are if you haven't had a conversation with one?
Yeah.
And one who went through things, not one as a representative to say, oh, I have a black friend, you know. And y'all know we talk about a lot of different social issues.
Yeah, we
on
do.
the
We're
channel,
gonna touch on the topic. We ain't
it kind of
play
deviated
games
from just Sweden, so
yeah.
I feel safe as a black woman in Sweden. I do. And again, like I just want to like mention this, that these are just my own experiences. This is just how I feel. I feel very, you know, safe and secure in Sweden. Of course, I mean, first of all, I'm a woman. Like, women, unfortunately, are not safe anywhere. So, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't walk alone at night at 3 a.m. Of course not, but I wouldn't do that here either. So, do I feel safe in Sweden as a black person? I do. I honestly, I love Sweden. If you ask anyone, they will say like, oh yeah, Athena's like the biggest Sweden lover ever. I am like, honestly, I love Sweden so much, and that's where all of my friends and family are. That is where I want to build my own family someday. That is where I want to live when I was gonna say when I grow up, and I'm like, you are a grown person. But yeah, I am currently living in Los Angeles now, but I do want to move back to Sweden, honestly, very soon, because that is just the country I love and I want to spend the rest of my life in. I definitely recommend everyone to visit Sweden if you have a chance. I would say go in the summer, not in the winter, because it's very cold and it's snowing, and you know, don't go in the winter time, but definitely in the summer. It's just a beautiful country and I can't wait to go back there. So these are just the questions I normally get. People are very interested.
All right, man. Athena, she was really fun. I think she made some very good points about Sweden, and we have some beautiful Sweden supporters. You guys really do show mad love, and y'all are very supportive of your country. I don't get no bad vibes from this video. I think everything about Sweden is what it is, especially from the architect all the way down to the people, down to the food. Y'all know we like to eat. Yes. So other than that, I feel like she killed it, bro. I think she has a good standpoint on how people represents black people in Sweden.
Right. I appreciated this video because although, you know, she shared some of the not so nice things that she's experienced, at the end she showed her pride for her home country and her love for it. And I feel like we do that a lot on the channel. You know, we talk about a lot of racial topics, a lot of bad things when it comes to the United States, but at the end of the day, this being the only home that we have ever known, let's talk about Louisiana. Okay, I'm gonna just talk about Louisiana, not the whole United States. But there has been a lot of bad history in Louisiana, especially civil rights movement, all those times. And our parents and grandparents grew up during those times, so we know stories. We know about. I'm trying to decide, do I want to bring it up on this video? I'm not gonna bring it up, but we know about the bad things that has happened in our home state. But at the end of the day, the good gonna always outweigh the bad, and that's not gonna always be the same story for everybody when it comes to their home country. But Sweden looks cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So we hope you guys enjoy this video with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.